asking me for, my first reaction was shock. It was difficult, especially seeing, not even just for me, because if it was a situation where it was just me, I think it would have been easier to handle. But seeing my parents in that situation as well was a lot.
What are your thoughts on your parents' conviction?
It's sad. It's been really hard to really wrap my head around it.
Do you understand the conviction and why they were found guilty?
I understand the conviction. Personally, I disagree with it. However, that's from a very biased perspective as their daughter, and I would obviously always back my parents. However, the law has taken its course. And
okay, that's the voice you just heard is the voice of Sonia Ekweremadu. She was talking about the recent conviction that her parents just had. I think the conviction came either early this week or today. Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is God's Love, and this is Late Nights with God's Love. Please, if you like the content you have seen so far, please help me to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I come here to talk about life issues, general tips about life, what happens to us that sometimes we don't know how to deal with, but having seen another person talk about it and how they're able to navigate through life, you could pick some things from it. Okay, all right, so let's move ahead. So today I have something to talk about: failures, disappointments, no's, and how to handle your no's. Because every once in a while, or sometimes on a daily basis, if we measure our lives, we get no's, we get disappointments, we get setbacks, and it's not the end of life. Okay, so if you're Nigerian or if you watch the news, you know that Ekweremadu and the wife has passed through some stuff, irrespective of their status in the society. But that's by the way, so I'm just going to leave that at that. So yesterday I went to a meeting that I was given a topic to talk about, and the topic stems from a quote. I don't know who made that quote, but the topic I was given to talk about was, and I quote, "I have failed several times, that's why I succeed." I think I paraphrased it now because the quote is just in that line: "I failed several times, that's why I succeed." So if you look in depth in it, you'll find out that what the quote is just saying is, I fail, but I don't remain there. And I've received several of such setbacks, and I also succeed. So most times what we see as success, what people record as success, is the final result of several failures, several setbacks, several bumps on the road. But nobody comes out to tell you all that they pass through, especially if it's not something that is outside. For example, somebody can be looking to have a child and have several miscarriages, or try several months or several years and couldn't get a child. What you on the outside will see is that the person was trying to have a child for some years. You don't know the miscarriages and every other thing that goes in between, in the process, right? Along the line. Then another person might have had some business disappointments before they succeed in a particular business. That one is not on the outside. If you don't know them in depth, like you know them personally, you might not know the processes they've passed through. But someone that is looking to have a child, if you see that the person is married and not having a child, you will know that they are having challenges, especially in this part of the world, if they are probably Africans. You know, some people in this part of the world where I'm living now, in the West, some people decide not to have children at all. But sometimes you see people in Africa, they give unsolicited advice, oh, this and that. You don't even know if they want to have a child or not. But most times, couples that get married and delay and are having some challenges. That is a problem I see. That is a problem that is on the outside. I call them a problem that is on the outside. But something like a business challenge, like somebody that not losing some money, if the person doesn't tell you, you don't know. So that's why the popular saying that you don't know what anybody is going through. There's an adage in my local language that says all lizards are lying down. You don't know the one that is having tummy ache. So some problems are on the outside, some problems are on the inside. You can cover up those problems. You wouldn't know what is happening. Then somebody that is sick, if you see somebody that is sick in the hospital, or someone that has an accident and probably limping, having they are limping in their limbs or something, that's also a problem on the outside. You will see them having such challenges, right? But somebody that probably is sick, maybe like this Sonia now having kidney issues, you wouldn't know unless they tell you that this was happening. So when their parents was doing all they were doing their legislative activities in Nigeria, nobody knew what was going on with their child until this thing blew up like this. So what am I saying? Some problems can be covered up, some problems can be outside, but everybody once in a while have found themselves in deep shit. Then failures, no's, disappointments, they happen on a daily basis. I've just had one now. I made a call. I was trying to reach out to somebody. I needed to do that today, but the person traveled. Well, I just set it aside because I know how these things work. I don't want to work myself up unnecessarily. So I just left that on the side. So that is a disappointment. You watching me now, you would have had a disappointment today. You would have tried to do something yesterday or this week at least, and it didn't go as you planned. That's a disappointment. That is a failure. I was in a broadcast on my Facebook page the other day and talked about how to handle disappointments. So now when they say you failed at something, it mustn't be a very big failure, depending on your age as well, because as you go along and advance in age, definitely the failures increase and the successes also increase. Failures come with successes. So you have to have multiple failures before you have multiple successes. In fact, we have failures. Generally, the failures we have in life are more than successes. But sometimes one big success can overshadow all the failures we've had. For example, the woman or the couple that have been looking to have a child might now get a child, and they forget all the problems, all the travails they had in the past. Now, I'm not saying that you continue to fail at something, at a particular thing. You need to look for better ways to do that thing. Is that what I'm talking about? What I'm talking about are the bits and pieces of our lives that will have individual failures. Like you might just be, walking and you misstep, right? That's a failure. The Englishman will say, you failed at doing this thing. You failed to wake up at 6 a.m. You wanted to wake up at 6 a.m. and probably you wake up at 6:15. That's a minor failure. They are just little failures. So I'm going to give you about 5 tips on how to deal with these failures and don't allow them to drown you. Number 1 is to accept the situation. Accept what has happened. You have to stop living in denial and know that this has happened, it has happened. So you have to accept the situation at that point. Don't start asking, why me? Why this? If something is for you, it's for you. Like the call, I was trying to make this morning and I wasn't able to get the person. I felt a little bit bad, but I've known these things. I know that, okay, what's going to happen? It's not the end of my life. If I don't get this thing, if I don't get this person, then it's not for me, right? So I accepted the situation and I moved ahead to carry on with my daily chores, daily cultures, daily things I need to do. And I'm doing this video from here. I'll go and do other things. I'll visit that situation later on. If it doesn't work, then there are better things to do. So number 1 is to accept the situation. You have to accept that this has happened. Stop blaming yourself. Stop beating up yourself. Then move away from anyone that wants to blame you for that situation, because everyone at that point, what you need is encouragement Not, oh, you would have done this better. Oh, you would have. Who knows? Do you know what the person has done? And it didn't work. So that's the point, to accept what happened, the failure, the disappointment, whatever it is, accept it. If you're walking along the road and you hit your head, hit your leg on probably a stumbling block or whatever it is, and probably you're bleeding there, it's not a time to start blaming yourself. Why did I even take this part, that and that? Accept the situation. This has happened. Accept it and don't live in denial. Sometimes it's something you didn't expect to happen. How did this happen? How did I make this mistake? This and that. Wow. But at that point, accept it. It might be a disappointment from somebody you trusted. At that point, like, why did this person do like that? That's why some women will say, oh, somebody has given their husband using some telepathy called what they call juju in Africa. Most times it's not that. It's just that probably the person you were trusting is not worth that trust. Okay, so number one is to accept the situation. This thing has happened. It has happened. So it is your reality now. So accept it. Okay. Number two, you have to move on is you might need to go get some rest. That's what one thing my mom used to tell us, is a change of job is a type of rest when she wants to kill us with house chores. Right. So like me, I left that call this morning and I'm doing other things, and from here I'm going to go do other things. I'm also resting. I'm resting away from that failure, from that disappointment. So you need time to rest and tune off. Sometimes you need to tune off entirely, or you might need, as you go to where you're going to rest, you might need to also carry the problem along with you. But you need some time off. You need some me time. You need some positive moments away from that situation. If you are with people that are blaming you for that, move away from them. Go to people that will show empathy, people that will be there for you, and work with you, hold your hands and help you through whatever situation it is. It could be anything, right? What you need at that time is your support system, not anyone tearing you apart. Okay, so that is number two thing. You need to tune off. You need to go and have some rest and think. When you're having the rest, you need to do some investigations, find out what is going on around you, find out what is the root cause of that thing, right? If you need to make changes, that's the time you start planning about the changes you need to make. So you need to rest, have yourself, if you need to go on vacation, you go on vacation. Like people that have lost people like to death or something, sometimes they go on vacation. That's why my mom lost my dad and she went on vacation to the US. I'm forever grateful to the woman that made it happen, right? So that's, by the way, that's number two rather. Now, number three, I talked about you making investigations while you are away. Sometimes you might need to just be away, depending on what has happened to you and how your body is reacting to it and how deep and how big the disappointment, the failure is. You might need to, if it's something that is so deep, so big, you might need to just tune off for a while, from minutes to seconds to days to weeks to months. You might just need to be away, right, from any noise, from any distractions. Then after that, if it's something you could be doing your investigation where you are, then go ahead. Then if it's something you need to come out from your rest to now do the investigation, that investigation is very, 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 very important. It's a very critical point. It's a very critical process in trying to deal with the disappointment, the failure, the no you had, because you need to find out how to do things better, how to make changes, how to make better choices, because the decisions you make today are the ones that will affect you tomorrow. And they said it's only a mad person that will keep doing something the same way over and over again and expect a better result. Sometimes you could make human changes, sometimes you could make material changes, you could make resources changes and all whatnot, but you need to find out why did this happen? Make investigations, At that point, even investigate yourself. You know, do your research, find out why did this happen. Okay, then after that, now number 4, you need to make changes. You need to make the right choices. You need to make changes and turn things around for yourself. At this point, I'm going to be using a particular example to drive home my point, which could be transferred or translated into every kind of disappointment there is. On that my Facebook page, I was using somebody that is traveling with a car to somewhere, and along the line, the car broke down. So that's a disappointment. Let me say the person was going for an interview or an appointment or whatever it is, the car broke down on the way. So that is a disappointment that has happened. The person needs to rest, needs to tune off a little bit. Like, need to accept, number 1, accept the reality that this has happened. My car has broken down, right? So it's not a time to say, why did this car even break down? You can't be fighting with the car at that time. So all you need to do is accept the situation. This has happened. I just need to, what do I do next? So at that point in the car, number 2, which you need to rest. The car is off. You need to just tune off. In this one, you don't need hours, you don't need days, you don't need weeks. What you need is a few seconds to a few minutes to rest and think about, what are you going to do? What's going to happen? The appointment I have, is it more important than leaving the car here? Then you start thinking about what to do. Make your investigations. Why did the car even stop? You may need to make calls. If you have a personal technician that fixes your car, you might call the person now. Some women, their husbands are their mechanics and their technicians. They might need to call their husband and tell them, okay, this is what has happened. This is the noise I heard in the car before this happened. So these are the investigations, preliminary investigations that will be done. If it's a technician, oh, did you hear this? Maybe it's this, or maybe try this, or maybe open your bonnet to do this, do that. Those are the investigations that needs to be done. You've accepted the situation, number 1. You've rested a little bit, number 2, and you've started making your investigations. Do your research, find out what happened. Why did this happen? Do we need to make changes, or the car just totally broke down? At that point, you're also weighing your options. Should I call my appointment, the appointment I have? Should I call it off? Should I reschedule? Is it more important than leaving the car here and jumping on another means of transportation and going for my appointment? Or do I need to fix this car first? Maybe the car is the only car you have as a family. Maybe your children needs to use the car to go to school the next day, or the appointment you're going for, maybe this final stage in your interview, or you need to go get a grant, which could help you change the car anyway, depending on which one it is. So that's number 3. So when you would have made calls, if your husband is a technician, your technician, your mechanic, whoever, then the 4th thing is to make a decision. You've accepted the situation, you've taken some rest, taken some time off rest, and done your research, done your investigations. Now you have to gather all those information and take a decision. All right. So whatever decision you take, either in this instance that I'm using, to go leave the car there, probably put your hazard sign out, put your hazard light, then probably leave the car there, or if it's a car you can push, I think it's manual, they can push those days. Push it away from maybe if it broke down, depending on where it broke down, the highway, push it to the side of the road, towards the curb, and now maybe call a tow van or whoever to come and pick the car and go fix it. You now take the decision either to do that or to wait there and do that yourself, or to move the car to one side, to a part of the road, and go for your appointment. Whichever is more important to you, you make that decision at that time. So number 4 step is to make right choices now. Make a decision what to do. All right. Then the 5th one is to actually execute your decision. Sometimes You can make choices. You know that you've prayed. If you're a child of God, if you're a Christian, you have prayed, you've asked God for direction. The Holy Spirit has brought solution your way, but you don't have the will to execute that decision. Maybe a passerby might come to you and say, for example, now maybe a passerby, maybe someone that wants to even steal your car, come and tell you, oh, do you want to move your car? Maybe you've told the person comes, I want to, you tell the person that you are waiting to move the car yourself. The person will like, why do you want to leave? Why do you want to leave, take the car? Why not go for your appointments? You don't know. I'm not saying that that's what happens, but sometimes a passersby that hasn't worn your shoe, that doesn't know what is happening, might want you to take decisions that will favor them, not the one that will favor you. These things happen. I've seen it. I've experienced it before, right? Where I made a decision that will favor me. People around that don't know what happened or might know just a bit of what happened want me to take decisions that will favor them. Heck no. So stick to your guns and make sure you take the decision that will favor you. You have made the investigations. You are the one wearing the shoes. So stick to your guns. That's a fifth process that will liberate you, help liberate you totally. So that passersby that is coming to sell the car, their car broke down. Oh, why not do this? Why not do this? Maybe they were not even in the car with them. They don't know what happened. They don't know their situation. They don't know investigations they have made and what they have found out. But all they know is, oh, this is the best way to do it. Maybe the person is walking, maybe the person doesn't have a car. The person is just walking by. And they want to tell you how to live your own life. Be very, very careful. Okay? So I'm not going to let this video be so long. So those are the 5 steps I'm listing out to help you cope with disappointment, to help you move away from a low moment, a disappointment, a failure, and make sure you are sticking it out. You're crushing it through life, and come out better on the other side. Okay, so if you like this content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and be notified when I'll drop another video, and give a thumbs up to my video and all the good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Let me know if you need to reach out to me to talk and discuss about anything. I have been a woman that have passed through some failures in life too, and I was able to come out on the other side successful, and life hasn't ended for me, right? So I'm also ready. I'm braced up for any new challenges in life, and I also know that with these processes and with prayers, God is always helping us out of all of our challenges. All right, have yourself a great one and keep being good. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.